In 1944, the British Secret Intelligence Service, the SIS, tried developing a chemical that would affect the blood of a human being. The chemical was derived with a mixture of nomofungin and commucin, as well as myperifuramidine. The chemical would modify the blood's chemical properties and structure so that if shot or cut, the blood would have the ability to freeze or solidify to where the person was shot. This would stop bleeding and can make a person far stronger than an average human being. However, a chemical like this would be incredibly expensive and only offered the most valuable of people, such as MI5 units and important politicians. Other things that have happened in order for the blood to solidify include increasing the amount of blood plasma from 55% to 59%. Modified blood cells, when oxidized, constituted percentages of 96%, therefore the subject had to breathe deeper more often. Since thermobocytes seem to get into the way of modified blood cells, they're removed prior to modification. The medulla oblongata is also modified by a chemical that familiarizes it with modified blood cells. Also, since the blood cells expand when solidified, 4% to 6% of the normal blood volume must be removed. Blood vessels, of course, are changed a slight bit by the chemical as well in order to handle the heavier cells. Test subjects can be any male over 21. Subjects are compensated with £35,000. The subject will be provided with hospital beds and some entertainment. The subject must remain on an EKG, and his or her heart monitor must be watched at all times. Once the chemical is introduced into the subject, he must be monitored for 24 hours. No food must be given until the 25th hour. All requests made by the subject for the first 24 hours must be ignored. Beginning on the 25th hour, the subject must be given painkillers and proper meal. The patient must continue to be monitored until the 72nd hour. After 72 hours, the subject is to be escorted to the test room. The subject is to be bound and sedated. The left arm is to be cut open 4 inches, and the right arm is to be shot by a .45 caliber automatic. Observe the effects. After hour 144, the subject is to be taken to the test room again, and the subject is to be shot in multiple places without sedation. Each place and effect is to be observed and recorded. The 3 subjects were male, 22, 23, and 29. The subjects also swore to secrecy. The chemical was successfully administered to all 3 subjects within the first hour. All 3 of them started screaming in agony. Surprisingly, this stopped by hour 3. Subjects 1 and 3 requested a copy of King James's Bible after hour 6, but it was denied. The fellow researchers decided that this meant they believed they would die. Subjects 1 and 3 granted a copy of King James's Bible after hour 25. Painkillers were administered to all 3 subjects. After 72 hours, the subjects were taken into the testing room. The 3 seemed delighted to leave the room. After sedation, each subject had their left arm cut open with a scalpel and his right arm shot by a .45 automatic. When the scalpel penetrated subject 1's arm, it reacted with a dark, amorphous solid substance, filling the cut almost as fast as the skin was opened up. It sealed so fast that the scalpel was stuck in his arm. The injury caused by the .45 automatic bullet was sealed by the dark amorphous blood within 3 seconds. The results were the same for subjects 2 and 3. After 84 hours, all 3 subjects started to act unusual. Instead of using the entertainment around them, they sat in their beds and groaned, as if they were sad or ashamed. Subjects failed to make eye contact. After 110 hours, subject 1 passed out. Blood tests could not be run because the blood was solid and amorphous. The only thing that was determined was the pH, which was a 5, far more acidic than usual. A researcher was sent in after 127 hours to take blood tests on the 3 subjects. Subjects have become increasingly silent. All 3 subjects have shown signs of aggression. The doctor found the pH levels to be 4.3, 4.6, and 4.4 for subjects 1, 2, and 3 respectively. pH values are decreasing. The blood test was taken at 140 hours. The pH values haven't changed. The experiment will continue as planned. At 144 hours, subjects were escorted to the test room. The 3 subjects looked far different from the beginning. The skin had turned to a shade of gray, and their skin looked noticeably thicker. Their eye colors had changed to pure black, and they were bloodshot. The experiment will continue as planned, but the chemical must be remodeled before repeating the experiment. Before opening fire on subject 1, 2, and 3, the subjects showed inhuman strength. They immediately pounced on their attackers and used their teeth as a most effective weapon. 6 armed men lost consciousness as their attackers touched their teeth to their skin. One's arm was devoured by the subjects. When MI5 agents entered to neutralize the room, the subjects were reported to be missing. The chemical must have a negative effect on the medulla oblongata, causing aggression. The chemical also affected the salival glands. Superhuman movements were caused by the enhanced blood cells within the muscles. The subject's lust for human flesh is unknown. Locations of subjects 1, 2, and 3 are unknown. Research for this project will be discontinued. Evidence, including this laboratory report, will be classified as SIS top secret.